There are only 3 rites of passage. That is birth, marriage, and death. And then God, because he knew that human beings are idiots, decided to choose 2 rites of passage for us. Birth and death. You don't know the day, you are not aware of it. He gave us the opportunity to choose marriage. But when he went to heaven, he also remembered that human beings are idiots. And he decided to give us signs, some signal that you are ready for marriage. And that is what we call puberty. So after puberty, I believe, that's why we wanted to lower the consent age to 16. Because I believe at 14, you are in puberty. For the hormones to stabilize at 16, you are good to go. While I was in the university, I got married when I was in second year. So I took my jembes to the farm, and we got our first daughter while I was in third year, and she had just completed Form 4. She was 18 years when she got our first daughter, a Syrian. And she was born the same day I was being sworn in as the son of president. In fact, I believe when I was swearing using the Bible, that I, David Ole Sankok, she was being told, push. Because it was almost the same time at 11 a.m. But she gave birth at home in my mother's Manyata. She did not have a mattress. The bed was a cow hide. And my grandmother, who was above 100 years at that time, was the traditional birth attendant. Not because I hated my wife, not to take her to hospital. I didn't have the money. Not because I didn't want a mattress. Getting 1,500, my father could not have afforded. So we used to use our cow hide as the mattress. After becoming the Sony chairman, at least life started improving a bit with allowances, with a permanent salary. I could also bring my wife to Nairobi. I took her to Kenya Polytechnic. She studied. But when I was dating her, of course, I brought her to Uhuru Park. You know, she was an innocent village girl. So what you girls say, kuwekwa box. Nilimweka box using an ice cream of 2 shillings. And you know that ice cream used to mumunya very fast. Otherwise, it will melt. And I also bought her a shirt of 35 shillings, a mitumba shirt, though it was oversized. But she did not know the difference between a shirt and a blouse. No, she was just that innocent girl. My father-in-law, before even we knew that I'll marry his daughter, he had already given me 3 cows, heifers. And you know, when somebody gives you a she cow, we call them heifers. That is the greatest prize that a Maasai can give you. Because her father was like my father, but more was a friend. We used to study with his brother, whom he used to sponsor. I used to think it was his son. So every time when he come to Ole Sankok Primary School for visiting, I will have gone to the forest to eat wild fruits because I knew my parents could not afford, so they will not come. So he must look for me. Every now and then he asks for me, then people will come, boys will come and fetch me from the bush. But one day I told him, you know, my parents don't hate me. It's only that they don't have the means. And I'm not your liability. Your liability is your son. But if you insist that I must stay and wait for you, then let us make an arrangement. Because he was a very wealthy wheat farmer, I asked him that when you are harvesting your wheat, I will not be able to carry the sacks of wheat, but I can sew, yani kuchona, the sacks of wheat. And we used to be paid because that work was for women. But because me, I don't have physical strength, then I can sew. And then he used to pay me 20 bob per day. But instead of paying me, he will stay with the money and use the money to come and visit me in school. So I think we develop a kind of relationship. So later on, he told me, I've given you heaviers with manyoya. Nimekupatia heaviers ambao iko na manyoya. Now I want to give you a heifer without fur. In Maasai, that means I want to give you a girl to marry. You know, a girl, a human being does not have fur like a heifer. So I knew what he meant. That is when I decided to marry his firstborn. But let me tell you, it was not easy because I had somebody else in mind, a girl. I don't want to mention her name. But when I approached her when I was in the university, and she had completed high school, and I told her, now that I have joined the university, you have completed high school, and we're in the same primary school, we are very close friends, that we will want us to start a family together. So I asked her if she wanted us to court the civilized way, or she wanted me to ask my father to approach her father in a traditional way. You know, she just laughed and told me, you see, when I smile to you, it's not because I love you, it is because I sympathize with you. I sympathize with your disability. In fact, she talked for almost 3 hours, condemning me, telling me, hey, because I will want somebody who will carry me to my wedding bed. What, will you carry yourself or you will carry me? I want somebody we can go for happy, we go for disco, we dance. Now you'll crush me with your crutches when even you try to dance. She also told me, because we were in the river, at the river, I had brought my father's livestock to take water, and she had come to the river to fetch water. We could see her home and we could see my home. So she asked me, in their home, they have a stone house. For me, my mother's house is a manyata, and not a manyata that is standing upright. You know, my mother's manyata, I don't know what happened. That time it was bending as if it can fall any time. So she told me, will I come? Am I stupid to come from a stone house with so many bedrooms to a manyata? She also asked me, look at our home. There is a Land Rover, there is 3 tractors, and there is a lorry. Those are the metallic equipment they have. The biggest metallic equipment in my father's compound was my father's sword or my mother's axe. So what is the motivation for her to leave that home to the other home? In fact, that one, it really, really, really brought my self-esteem to the lowest level. I've never felt like that in my life. In fact, I asked myself if I will ever marry. I was even planning, if it was not my father-in-law who came and told me, I'll give you a heifer without manyoya, I thought I will buy children. Because this is a lady who have seen me grow up. This is a lady whom we were together in primary school. This is a lady who knows that despite my disability, I work hard. In fact, when we were discussing, I had taken my father's cows despite my disability, just like any other man. So if she cannot understand me, who else, which other lady can understand me? When now I got Helen, I was still insecure. So I decided, what if this lady thinks that my disability is just a dislocation and that it is not permanent? Yes? And then, what if she realizes it is permanent? So I decided, before she realizes this disability is permanent, I also have to destabilize her. That one is because of my insecurity. So I decided to make her pregnant with the first child, the second child, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. She's written off. There's nowhere she can run. You know, I'm all description of somebody who is ugly. I'm short. I'm with crutches, you know, being a person with disability. And again, I was poor. So instead of going for that competition, I decided to use elimination as a means to achieve the ends. And, you know, the ends justify the means. So At the end of the day, Helen with me, we have been together for the past, 23 years.
Kitu yenye nimeipenda kwake ni is a hardworking man. Ni mtu mwenye ako na vision na ni mtu ako determined. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio nilipenda kwake, na ni mtu ako genuine. Yeye anakuambia tu kitu straightforward. Sio ile anakuficha mambo ingine mingi. Anaweza kuambia nakupenda, lakini unajua kuna vijana wengi kwa hata wewe kuna tu wenye anakuambia nakupenda, lakini ujue kuna kitu anatafuta, sio labda hata sio kukupenda ndio anakupenda. Lakini niliona yeye ni mtu mwenye akisema kitu anamaanisha. Saa zingine alikuwa anakaa, saa zingine anachora, anaandika Osim real estate. Kuna siku tulikuwa, sasa mimi nilikuwa shule, hata yeye alikuwa shule. Sasa venye nilizaa mtoto wa kwanza niliachia mama yake, mimi nikaendelea kwenda kusoma, na hata yeye alikuwa shule bado. Na unaona yeye ndiye ana struggle, ananilipia school fees na yeye bado ni mwanafunzi. Unaona? Sasa alikuwa anaandika, saa zingine anachora nyumba yenye kuna gari, na anaandika Osim real estate. Siku nyingine aliandika tu akabandika kwa ukuta. Mimi kukuja nikaona, mimi naangalia huyu mtu hata unaona, yani mtu mwenye ako na vision. Anaandika kitu lakini sasa hakuna pesa, hata unasema sasa huyu pesa akiandika hiyo hata ni kitu yenye hakuna yani ukiona wewe mtu wa kawaida unaona kama haitafanyika ama haitakuwa. Kwa hivyo ni mtu mwenye ako determined, na ni mtu mwenye ako hardworking, na ni mtu mwenye ako na vision.